Shoe of the day, this being Saturday, last week in December. Retroed the BRED Jordan 1s again. I missed out on the band ones. Helped out with some locates, but because of the limited capacity, wasn't able to get my pair. I couldn't get off to go down there. I was anxious to get this one so I could compare them to the 1985 version, yes, 85 version, that I still have a pair of that are getting kind of old. The last time I wore them was at the All-Star game here in Dallas. It was snowing that day, but it's about time to retire them. Now this one right here, today's release is in a long line of retroing this model. And it'll happen again, of course it will. This is just too good of a colorway. Nike Air on the top. A good leather overall on this release. Nike has the capability to give us better leathers and better retros on all of them. But it seems like it takes a better, more sought after, more limited release to really get up there and make it go and do what we should do all the way around. Better shoes would lead to better pricing, and I think that's a better strategy than just trying to build hype and limiting the amount of pairs that are out there, forcing everybody to go after the very few that are there. Just my opinion. A good release, fairly true to the first box. The first 1985s did come with red laces and black. And this is a good representation of the box if I remember it correctly. I do not have the box for my older pair. I just have the shoes. And their beaters, they saw a lot of time down around the University of Texas. Dirt all over the bottom of them and everything else. And no, I'm not going to clean them. Maybe one day, but it's just not that important to me. After all, shoes are meant to be worn, and they are what they are. Let's go ahead and do a quick comparison to see some of the differences over time. This is the retro. And this is the original 1985. Notice the differences in the leather. Even though this one here is completely beaten and worn down, I don't think it takes much to see the difference in the buttery soft leather back in 85 and how durable it is as compared with today's, even when we do a retro that is very well done and better leather than most. Some of the details on the leather, the stitching that you can see that is quite different. The tongue on the retro is more of a canvasy style. Pretty thick and pretty durable. 1985, it was more of just a nylon, let's call it. It's not much of a tongue at all. And as far as the loop, you can see it was just cut through the tongue itself. That you would put your laces through, and literally just a cut through the tongue, as opposed to a sewn-on loop that we see today. The Nike Air on the tongue tab, fairly close. Better stitching today. as opposed to almost not there. Now another interesting thing is if I can get this tongue to stay down here without tearing it apart, the way that the interior of this 1985 right here, it was more like a foam, and it's gotten a little bit harder over the last few years as opposed to this canvas style right here. And you can see on the retro we have a nice leather, but yet on the 85 it was more of a painted on outside of the foam around that upper area. Basically from where the leather ends here, you can see that foam part, and it's starting to crack away and lose some of the paint itself on that original shoe. And no, these are not the late 90s or mid 90s. These are the original, first worn in Austin, Texas, Jordan 1 BREDs. The first Jordan that I bought. Quite a bit different. The sole itself, a larger Nike Air. Sorry about the shape, they are well worn. And today we go with more of a black and a smaller swoosh. A smaller Nike Air. On the inside of the shoe, if we can get to that, you can see the differences down there in the structure, as opposed to today's model is more along the lines of just the all the way through that we're used to seeing, as opposed to like a canvas interior almost inside that leather. The back of the tab and some of the things that have changed. These were made in Korea in '85, and today we've gone to China, and we know that they do some things in Vietnam as well. So these were made a long time ago, back when Nike was doing their business with their shoes in Korea. Like I said, it was '85, so that's almost 30 years ago, 28 years. Nevertheless, a good recreation here on the retro. As I said, these are dirty. They are worn. There's some of that lemonade on the side that Jumpman Bostic and I talked about out on Cowboys Field. My brother knows the difference. And no, I'm not going to clean that off of there. That gives these their character. A fairly good representation there. Let's go ahead and stack them up here. We've got retro on the bottom. The original 85 on the top. The color is fairly close, so we're good there. Still got the Nike. Here we have the R as it was registered. No need for that today. Just the one R. And a little bit more of a pattern inside there. As opposed to the cobbled pattern that we saw on the originals. So I'm very, very glad to have these. Both of them still. The 85s and the new ones. Because now I can take the gear that I've got for my BRED ones and I can wear it with these new, not that important, retro BREDs and be just as happy. So there's a little bit of a difference from the original, the real true original, and today's retro, which is number 6 or 7 in the line of retros. As always, you can find me at samcolt12@gmail.com and many other places. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, questions and concerns, Gmail. And I continue to downsize my collection and sell lots of shoes at goodshoes.com, my big cartel site, and I will continue to do more. Please feel free to ask me about shoes you see on my videos if I'm selling them, if you want to buy them, but be prepared. They're not going to go for just throwaway prices. Why would I throw them away when they can just continue to sit in the locker until they're ready to find the correct home? I appreciate everybody who's bought and who helped me to promote the site, tell people about the site, and I will get more things back up on eBay very shortly. Today's retro bread, a good one compared with the blast from the past. And probably about ready to be retired. You never can tell. Pack of breads.